This video is brought to you by Miniature Market. Thousands of board games, miniatures, and paints, discount prices at miniaturemarket.com.
Hey everybody, today we are painting Gates of Valhalla, a game that's very anticipated. I just kind of show you how I go through kind of a quick, just get it to the table type of a paint job, which a lot of you really want to try to do. I'm really happy with it. I took a couple liberties here and there. I put the goblins on bases. I just feel that they're better on round bases that I've had, and I think it just fits better into the whole thing. So let's go down, take a look how to paint this up, get it quickly to the table, because your set's coming too, and I'm telling you right now, you're going to want to paint this and start playing this masterpiece. First thing I want to show you is the assembly was a piece of cake. They really were. So I was going to tape it, but it was just so easy to get these tremendous figures put together. I sprayed everything gray, so we have a nice coat of gray primer on there. I've already kind of started working on some of the figures, so I just want to skip ahead a little bit because it's really just basic stuff. These guards here, all I did was I had them gray, and then I just dry brushed with some lead belcher so far. We'll show you when we start highlighting and stuff. And then these, like, you know, the little goblins here, I just put a coat of gray on them for now. They're real simple. They don't have any bases for them. So these guys, you kind of just want to kind of breeze through. So I used an Alicia green to go over them, and then we're going to use a nice brown. And as soon as I figure out which one I want to use, I've got a couple of these really good army painters. I think the flat earth will really work very well for their little tunics there. So let's get to work. Also, we have these other guys that are really cool. They're going to be mostly silver, but this cape here is going to be a blue. So I'll show you the cards as we go along, and we'll just start knocking this out, and I'll show you how to do it. Really keep it nice and simple so we can get it at the table and start playing. So I decided to change my mind, and I went with a nice steel drab. And all I'm going to do is I'm going to keep this really, really simple, because what I think I'm going to do is I am going to put these on bases. And because this is kind of in a winter environment, which is just cool anyways, okay, I'm going to put them on some snow bases, just so they're not falling all over the place when you're playing. These bases are fine and everything like that, but for me, I just like doing things a certain way, just like I did with all the little spiders. I put those all on bases and stuff like that for the original set, which meant the world to me. So I'm just going to do all these little coverings here in this steel drab brown, and then, you know, I will put a little wash over them, and I'll make sure that I show you which one. Again, I don't want to sit here and just show you how, you know, go over each one and paint each one and show you each stroke. I want to give you an idea so you can just take and get to work on it, and that's what it really comes down to. So there we go. I'm going to finish the rest of these, then I'm going to come back. I'm going to lead belcher. I don't have to show you that. I'm going to lead belcher the knife to make sure that's good. And then it's got a little pouch here, and I'm going to decide what color I'm going to make that. Next, what I got is these Targa Librarians, which are really cool looking. And I'm just taking lead belcher and going over the top. I'll show you the card in a second. That was what I was afraid of, is their arms. They have these very small arms, so you want to be careful with the brush that you have. And you may want to paint those on the sprue and then cut them off, so you don't do like I just did. You're only going to do the upper half here because the rest is blue, and I'll show you that in a second. Hold on here. Let me just finish up getting this here. There's only 3 of these guys, so you only got to worry about getting the 3 done. You're going to do exactly the same thing that I did here, just making sure that you get all of it and get it all jacked up a bit, because we're going to throw a wash on here. The card I'm going to show you, these are really cool. I mean, look at this. A new enemy. They have a librarian codex, ancient force field, guide. I mean, yeah, game on, game on. These guys are going to be a problem. And you can see what I'm doing. I'm just trying to get the top half because we're going to paint the lower half there. So I'm going to finish up this guy, glue that arm back on, and then I've got one more guy to do here, so we'll be well on our way. Next, what I'm using is dark blue, and that's from Valhalla. Very easy to find because it's just dark blue, folks. And all I'm doing is I'm taking care of this dress part, or this, yeah, I guess it's kind of like a dress on this thing, the librarian dress, or whatever you want to call it. And it's in the picture, it is a dark blue, and it really just get yourself a good dress, get that on there real quick. And then I'm trying to decide what color I want to do for their, I don't want to go with the yellow. I don't like the yellow highlight in there. I just think it'll cheapen it. I'm thinking of maybe going with a gold, but I'll make a decision and I'll show you what I do. But I'll show you the picture in a minute as I finish this up very quickly, just to get this guy done. Alright, and you want to be careful right around this waistband area, because it is supposed to be lead belcher, or silver, or however you want it, metallic. So I'm just going to go in there like that, and boom, we're going to be good to go. And I'll put him right here, and I'll just show you real quick. You can see I don't like the yellow. First of all, I think putting it on the model will make it look, I don't know, look kind of cheap. I mean, it looks great in the picture. The art's fantastic. But I might go a gold, a retribution gold maybe, or a copper or something, especially in their eyelids. I like the little green there. I think I'm gonna pop in there. But I'm gonna feel this out and see how it looks. I may try it and then come back, but we're gonna let that dry, and then we're gonna move on to our next target. So now that I got the lead belcher and everything here, I just went with like a medium flesh tone from Vallejo, and I'm just kind of getting this bag to break up the color a little bit. There we go. And I'm gonna let that dry. We're gonna put a wash over that so it'll really darken it up a bit and give it a different tone there. So all I want to do is just kind of get that in there. And these guys, you won't, they're gonna get thrashed and slaughtered. So you want to just kind of breeze through these. There is a lot of them. I'd say there's 5, 10, 12 of these. So you kind of want to just get your paints on there and get them ready for battle. So I'm going to finish up doing these, and then I'm going to decide what I'm going to do. Whether, like I said, I'm still deciding whether to put them on bases or not. So we'll figure it out, and we'll talk about it later in the video. Next, what we're going to do is we're going to take our target warriors, guardians, whatever you want to call them, and I'm going to take this flesh tone, and I kind of liked how it looked on the goblins' bags, and I'm just going to work it in here to kind of supplement the yellow, or use it as a base coat for the yellow. You could do the same thing with an Averlin Sunset. It's just I got a broken bottle, so I figured I'd use this as my base, and all I'm trying to do is just get a nice thin coat in here. I've watered it down already, so, and just get it in there, And just, you're going to have to put a couple coats in here because, again, these yellows are just so tough to paint and get right without them looking fake, you know. And that's the thing that you kind of want to, well, maybe I should make it like a fluorescent green or something. Nah, if that's the way they got it in the picture, let's try to do our best to get it to where it is. All right, so there, and then you want a nice thin brush. You want to be very careful here, and just get the eye holes here. So you want to go down, cut across, just take your time, and you can see it just comes in there nice and easy like that. And then you can put another coat on there eventually. Now the same thing with the librarian here. All I want to do, I'm not going to do the edging here. I think I'm going to do that. I want to do it kind of like I'm still thinking gold or copper or something to make it stand out a little bit more. But I'm going to try to do the eye sockets that they have here. And you just want to take your time and go in here. You want to get it across there. Have a nice thin brush, nice thin coat of it, and get it in there so it looks and it pops out pretty good. All right. So there's only 3 of these, and that makes it really, really simple. Next thing I'm going to do is I'm going to take some Bad Moon yellow contrast and just kind of go over those areas that I had used that flesh tone with. All I want to do is just get just a little bit in there, nothing too extensive. Just get it so I can just kind of swirl it in there, and so it has that yellow tinge to it, and it has that little bit of brightness that I'm looking for. And you can see it kind of just works in there, and you're probably going to need a couple coats of this for sure, but you're just going to want to take your time, go around, and just work that in there like such. Then I'll come up and I'll just kind of very lightly with my brush just go inside here, just so we can tinge that up. And you kind of match up a little bit there with the original, and that's all I'm trying to do. Whoops, hold on. There, that's it. It's as simple as that, folks. Now I'm going to do the same thing here and really try to bring that out onto our librarians. Boom, 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 boom. And there we go. I'm pretty happy with that. Now I'll glue them onto the base and then we can finish them up. So a couple things here real quick. I glued everybody to the bases, and then I put some lead belcher, some retribution gold here. The other thing, I was trying to decide what to do with these guys here, okay, which are the trolls. Now I'm saving the big guy for last here, which is the storm giant, because you're going to just love, I love painting those type of guys, so it's a real lot of fun. The other thing, I had some old bases, and I don't like how these fall, so I want to fill these with snow. So I put all the goblins on, or goblins, whatever you want to call them, on there, and kind of tighten that up. I wasn't going to show you guys, but I'm just going to show you anyways. This is the archer here, which I just got base coats on. We also have one of the Norsemen, the other berserker dude, right? Okay, because he looks pretty cool. And then the Jarl himself, okay? And just kept it real simple with just base coats. I just thought I didn't want to bore you to death with that. So I took some camo cloak, okay, speed paint from Army Painter, and just poured a little of it out. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to cover this guy entirely, okay? Just really going to get that on there and move these guys out of the way, because I've got to do all these bases. So I just kind of want to kind of get an idea what I want to do with this guy. And I'm just going to cover him completely in this and really just let it get in the recesses, because the speed paints do a pretty good job. And I can always build my way out if I don't like it. The big concern was just trying to see where I wanted to take this guy. And I've got a couple different ideas, but I can always just go back over and cover it up with the speed paint. And it works really well on the gray base. Now I just got to put a little bit more. I really like these army painter ones. They come with the balls in there, so it shakes up real nicely. And I just beat up my poor watering can here by just pouring a little on top of there and just really rubbing it in there everywhere and getting it so we get a good amount of coverage. All right, so there we go. And I'm going to finish this up, and then we're going to come back. I'm going to let it dry and see what it does, because what I really want to do is kind of dry brush my way out of this. Okay, it's very dark, but his face is dark, and I just don't want to spend a lot of time on these trolls, because they actually kind of, I don't like trolls. There you go. So I'm going to get these finished up, and then we'll come back and we'll take a look how everything looks and what I got planned and how we're going to build outwards. So I figure while we're waiting for the trolls to dry, I would kind of start and just kind of lay the base of my whatchamacallit here, my storm giant. I want to get all the skin here, because that is the hardest part, believe it or not, is making sure that you get all the skin. And I'm just laying in here because I can go over everything else real quickly. It's not the end of the world here. And this is just a nice little base coat that I'm putting on here. I'll show you what I'm using. I believe it's called a Lotharen Blue. Okay, there we go. And just getting that nice little base coat in there. Making sure that his privates are covered. There we go. All right. It goes on gray so perfectly. So, it was really smart. And you want to make sure that you get all of it here, because we're going to darken this up and then lighten it up again. And this is just a fun model to do. I always enjoy doing Storm Giants. As a matter of fact, I made one for Ricky Royal that I got to send to him after a UK show here, because he is the Storm Giant of all board gaming, because the dude is just the best. All right, so I did something really cool for him, so hopefully we can get it to him soon. It just costs so much to send it overseas. But that's life, right? Suck it up, Rob. But I just finished painting a game for him and stuff. It was just something that was personal when I wasn't feeling well. He's always been a good friend, and I just don't think I'd ever get over to see him in the UK. And I would like to, that's for sure. All right, so it looks like we got everything there. We can get in the eye sockets there, but I don't think we need to, because I think the lead belcher will go in there very nicely. You know what? We're gonna tickle in here a little bit, and it doesn't matter. You can just try to reach in there a little bit. I mean, you're not looking for perfection here. It's when you put everything else on that's where it's really going to sell. So you really want to make sure that you eliminate all the gray, like that little area right there. You're not worried about going over certain things or catching something, because you're going to be real tight when you come and do the branch, do the bands and stuff like that. But right now, just getting that nice blue on the big fella is going to sell out real well. So the hard part is trying to balance this color out here. So what I want to do is I almost want to try to, the fur, I want to kind of try to make almost like a brown-like, So what I'm going to do here is I'm going to get a good amount of this on my brush here. And then, you know, just like anything else, I'm going to dry brush it on. And I'm going to take it off, okay? So I'm going to find a little spot on my paper here. As you see, I just already kind of did that. And then I'm going to take a good amount of that off, okay? And I want to make sure I get that feel where I could still pull a little here, okay? And I want to be very careful. And I'm going to just start lightly going over the fur area. I want to leave that green there, but I want to be able to kind of lighten this guy up in certain areas, but I want to leave his face dark. So as you can see right there, it's just kind of, I'm just using that brush enough to kind of just get over that a little bit. I'm not hitting his feet or his arms where they're very dark green. I just want to hit the fur areas. I'm not worried about going over the strap because I got to go over the strap. I'm not worried about going over the stone because I got to go over the stone. I just want to lighten him up in these key areas so he kind of blends in there a little bit, and I think you can see what I'm going for. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to finish these up, and again, it's just going to be a little time consuming because you don't want to put too much on here and lose it, but you want to get enough on there where you can kind of try to work with the artist's rendition of this, which is really cool anyways, because anything that this company does is just cool. And I want to stay away from around his face because I want that darkness in his face and in his hands, okay? And that's gonna work for me, okay? Then, you know, we got to do the backpack and all that other stuff, but I'm not too worried about that. But I kind of want to get this kind of settled and then work my way out. So I'm gonna do these three and see how it turns out, and then we'll come back. So next I'm gonna take a little mahogany brown here from Vallejo. I got this at actually Hobby Lobby, believe it or not. And he's got this bag on the side here, so I kind of want to take care of that. Now I'm going to use this color for a couple things. I'm going to do all these trolls and do all their bags and stuff. And let me move these trolls out so I don't hit them while I'm doing this, right, in front of the camera. And then what I'm going to do is I'm going to take the Storm Giant, because the Storm Giant, his whole outfit is pretty much mahogany brown. So I'm going to get two uses out of this. So I want to make sure that I get all my trolls all set up with all the brown that they do. And while you got the paint out, you might as well just start working on the Storm Giant too, which I'll show you once we get it all painted up. I'll show you what I picked out. This belt here, you want to be a little careful here. He also has this ringlet that comes around that we're going to be using some Ushabi bone on. So I want to be careful here. This belt comes through here. Okay, and you want to be careful. Again, you can always just go over it. You know, we all make mistakes in life. Jeez. God, if I didn't make mistakes, I'd probably have a lot of people watching. But let's be honest. All right, you just try to paint as well as you can and to get it to the table, so you build a little bit of theme there, and you feel proud that you can have some tabletop miniatures that just aren't gray. And isn't that what it's all about, folks? Just getting there. Also, this belt will come all through here, as you can see. And I'm just take your time, go through there, paint it, just go nice and easy. Just think of something that puts your mind at ease, and just take your time. Enjoy it. It's a nice thing to do where you don't have to worry about the world or anything else in it, and just paint. That's all you do. It's so simple. It's such a good thing. And I'm going to get underneath there in case anybody looks under his carriage. And then, you know, we'll come back with Ushabi brown and a few other things that we're going to do with it. But I'm going to let this dry, and then we're going to go right to the giant. All right, so I got the big guy with all his base coats on. The brown really works the mahogany really works well. But we're going to bring that out in certain areas, and we're going to try to change things up a little bit and just give it a little bit of different feel. I got to do the lead belcher on his helmet. Then I got to touch up the blue and dry brush that. And then we got a lot of dry brushing to do on the big fella before we start basing them out. These guys came out pretty good so far. I'm going to work on their teeth and their tongues, and then do black for their fingernails. And then I got to put some Ushabi bone for the bones, of course. And then we'll bring them up and start basing them. And then we're going to start basing everything. We'll have this game finished, and then guess what? We're going to play it, but also, you know, we do have Valley of the Serpent Kings that we got to do next, but we're going to finish everything with this one, do a do a taped playthrough, have some fun, and then we'll move on to the next fantastic set by our great friends over at Flying Frog Games. And boy, they are awesome. All right, folks, let's get back to work here. All right, a couple things real quick. You can see I got a nice little wash on certain areas, especially on this club here. And then I'm going to finish him up. I put some Ushabi bone around on the bone, of course. And right now I'm just taking some Emperor's Children, and I want to be careful because I put Ushabi bone on his teeth to kind of sell that. But I'm just taking care of that tongue, because that tongue really kind of stands out for these trolls. And you want to make sure that you get it really good, because it is really an important part of this model, believe it or not. Him looking all sinister and stuff like that and going, yeah, whatever, and sticking his tongue out. So just making sure that you got a good amount on there, and just try to get it done and get it in there. And then we got a little more highlighting to do, and then we're going to base everything. And I'm going to show you what I want to do, because I really want to make this a snow thing. So I'm going to show you how I do that, and then we'll be finished up here, and I'll get you guys a real nice picture of everything. Now, when it comes to putting snow down on bases, I always like to use the regular Elmer's glue, because the white helps on the base, and then you don't have to do that much extra work. Because sometimes what I'll do is, if I use the clear, I'll just paint white over it a bit and then just go over. But I'll take this stuff and really go on here thick, all right, and really just make sure that I have this over every spot that I want. Make sure it's good and thick in there. And then I have my little container here. I use the same rotten brush to do this every time. If you have bad brushes, use them for basing, folks. Don't throw nothing away. Throw nothing away. And then I'm just going to make sure my storm giant, or ice giant, whatever you want to call him, is good on here. I'm going to tap that in there real good. And then I'm just going to tap this off. And then just come around the edge here. Make sure I've got everything where I want it to be. And you're gonna, maybe once this hardens, you want to kind of do another layer of this. I'll throw a little glue on anything that looks like it's going through, but it's as simple as that. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to get all these things based, and then we will come back and we'll take a big look at this. And here we go at the finished product, all ready for our playthrough, folks. And boy, this was a lot of fun. And well, I'll be honest with you, we got a lot more to come as far as the new Shadows of Brimstone, Gates of Valhalla. Not only do we have that going, but we're going to be working on that bad boy that's upside down, Valley of the Serpent Kings, next. So we'll do a paint tutorial and play through both these fantastic new sets from our good friends at Flying Frog Productions. Hope you enjoyed this, folks. Let's go up top and get my final thoughts. Now there you have it. There's a few things I need to do. I need to get a second coat of snow on there, which I'll be doing. And then I also have some nice little bushes I like to put on to the bases. Like I said, the goblins I glued onto the bases, which look absolutely a lot better and easy to control. This was really easy to go together. It really painted very, very well. It was just, everything is spelled out for you. I'm telling you right now, this is one of the best sets in the world. And we're going to be doing another video on Valley of the Serpents. Make sure that you check that out. I hope you enjoyed this. Until next time, it's your old pal Rob. We'll see you soon, everybody.